yes, I do. So I'm curious about how you figured the images together, the actual outfit. How you decided on the way that you were going to present the two clothes.
So starting with the morph suits, or which
The
parts?
morph suits, yes. So particularly the early bit with these scarves, which I thought was very strong and interesting to me, and I'd like you to kind of explain that a little bit more.
Okay. Do you want to start with that?
Well, that was kind of under a slogan of heading for peace or shouldering peace. I was thinking very much about bodies and how bodies bring us forward towards peace. And we're interested in the way in which different nationalities, religions, Israelis, Palestinians, Jews, Palestinians, get Muslims, Christians, get figured into it. And so we began with something kind of minimal, the ways in which the bodies look very similar, hence the morph suits, and then Ariel will say more about the actual designs of the head coverings.
We were thinking of different ways that we can learn about each other and about each other's differences, and a lot of time when we cover our heads, we separate ourselves from each other. And so we wanted to kind of deconstruct that and look underneath the head coverings. And when I started to look into the head coverings, I noticed how similar they were, and all the fringes and tassels are very similar to the Jewish prayer shawl. And then if we take the very basic of a rectangular shape and tassels, we pretty much have every scarf that you could find a hijab. A Muslim woman would wear it, as the mepachat, where a Jewish Orthodox woman would wear. The kafia also has tassels on the corner, as does the talit. So it fit all four, men, women, Jews, Arabs, Palestinians, Israelis. So we were playing around with those head coverings, but leaving it white without color, because the color is about how we have national colors that we associate, and that give us certain feelings when we see our nation's colors or the colors of another nation.
Maybe you guys want to say something about what it was like to play with things, because you had to learn this from scratch.
Yeah, not knowing not having done these headscarves before, it was interesting for us to discover that side of the culture that we knew nothing about. So,
as well as doing it together when we didn't originally know the difference between the different headscarves, it was like, oh, we're all doing these together. It kind of went along with your original plan.
And it was interesting. It was interesting. There's a whole process behind each of them. It's its own mini ritual that you would think that it'd just be something you put on, like for us, just like normal clothes, but it's a total process, and it's really interesting to learn the differences between those.
And so there's a passion in each one, but also a deeper meaning in why they do each one.
So can I follow on from that? And are you also suggesting that the mechanics of learning how each person from their own culture dresses with something very symbolic from the culture actually teaches understanding and camaraderie?
Yeah, I mean, it just demystifies it, because sometimes when we see something that seems strange, we can be frightened by it. But when we learn about it and learn the reasons behind it, we can connect to it and see where where our similarities are and our differences are, and it's kind of like a weave.
Right, so the physicality sometimes actually also helps you understand that, rather than it's the...
Right, it's a kinesthetic experience of the movement, yeah.
Yeah, so for example, Nick comes on first, and he kind of wraps the kafir around in a way that looks threatening, like only his eyes are showing, not his nose, only his eyes. So he looks like, someone who's going to be throwing a stone. But seeing how you have to become that person and how you can unbecome that person is part of that physicality.
Yeah, so we wanted that really minimalistic white. Everybody is the same underneath, but on top, the way they wrap the same thing brings out the very big differences. So it's fine with that. And in the second scene, we had the get comfortable with peace, which was the bathrobe and the slippers. That was my Palestinian Israeli friend's idea, because she said doesn't start out in the streets, it starts at home. So that was all her idea, to make slippers and a bathrobe for peace. And I was throwing out the stuffed animals. Those represent the sacrifices that Abraham made for Ishmael and for Isaac. So not to kill his children, and so it's about how we shouldn't be killing each other, because that's what Abraham learned. And the third scene was the peace hero, because I really wish there was a peace hero, and so I created one.
Ariel, can I ask you more about the symbolism you've used across the whole range of the items that you've designed?
Okay.
And certainly you've used, obviously, the Star of David. But there is something more to that, I understand, than just merely being a symbol of the Jewish faith, yeah?
So, the Star of David comes off the flag, the center of the Israeli flag. It's also a Jewish star, think of Jewish. And I put it right over the pubic area because that's really important with the politics, the reproductive politics that are happening in Israel. Who's having more babies? Is it the Palestinians? Is it the Jews? Because the population, everybody wants to be the majority population to have control. So that's why that was placed there.
And the colours are the red, black, and green are the colours of the Palestinian flag. And the colours of the suspenders also emulate the Israeli flag, which has two blue stripes down it, which are also the stripes that come from the talit, the prayer shawl, which is where the inspiration for putting them on the flag as well. So the peace hero embodies everything together.
And then why don't you talk about the piece of ass?
Okay, so the piece of ass kind of began as a joke. Ariel had designed the first version of these Converse shoes, and she was asking, would I like to, on my next trip to Israel, would I like to wear them going in through the airport? And I kind of said, I'm not sure I want to do that, because if I'm wearing these and I go through kind of Israeli security, they're going to want to look at my ass. You know, they're going to do one of those security checks and stuff like that. And then I kind of said, wouldn't it be funny if then I took down my pants and I had the colours of the Israeli and the Palestinian flag up there as well? And then we were laughing about it, and then Ariel said, yeah, what if you had both of them opposite each other just like that? And then we came up with the, Ariel saw how you needed two arses, two butts to stick together to kind of make up.
Well, that was the piece of ass. And so our collaborative process really mirrored that whole working together that the piece of ass is all about. You have to stand side by side in order to come up with the goods. And then the We Are One. If you notice, this one has the Israeli flag outside and the Palestinian flag on the inside, and this is the opposite way around. So talking about land. Whose land is it anyway?
Yeah, and that's why, as part of the final scene, that was why swapping the shoes between each other was important, because they begin as you're hearing those cover versions of the two national anthems in English. They're kind of both trying to be one, and they were struggling against each other, and when they struggled enough, which is kind of what we hope will happen soon, they kind of sat down and they swapped each other's things, and they kind of saw that we are one, not as two separate entities, but we are one working together instead of struggling.
So I suppose I have to ask that question now. What kind of one are you looking for? I mean, there are so many possibles for Israel's future, yeah? So, I mean, from what you've just said, it would suggest that you're looking for a kind of one-state solution.
I'm just looking for a solution.
A solution.
Yeah, I don't care what it is. A peaceful solution, and
that
I don't
most
want to
people
dictate.
can live under, yeah?
I don't want to dictate what that is.
It's kind of more about the process. Whatever out of this relationship that Israelis and Palestinians figure is going to work for them, that's what they should end up with. And I think kind of trying to do the numbers game, 1, 2, 2.5, 7 states. That's not really the kind of the issue here. It's more about working through a process, which we sort of figured here.
Yeah, a playful process, because
Yeah.
I think play is what's missing. It's all about fighting, and we need to play. And if we play more and we start to get creative, we will come up with the idea. But we're so locked in our own traumas that we aren't able to play. And so this whole piece is about playing and about having fun together.
And did you have fun? That's good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.